Good afternoon, Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri Tejaswi Surya. Thanks for your time and blessings to this boot camp for Innovation Center from IIIT Bangalore. Myself, Debra Das, Professor in IIIT Bangalore and present Director. And you know Professor Sadagopan very well. And good afternoon, Professor Sadagopan. And also, I just took over charge from him a couple of days back, and from his star based tenure of 22 years as a director of IIIT Bangalore. Shri Tejaswi Surya, I want to quickly update you about our IIITB Innovation Center has in inception from 2009, which has brought together entrepreneurs, academicians, industry experts to create an impact in the startup ecosystem. The institute works in partnership with the corporate sector also for these startups. The main objective of the program is to nurture students and startups innovation by validation and development of their ideas for our young generation. And we are also grateful to you and your office for supporting us for development of this application called BangaloreForHumanity.com, a support application during second wave of COVID-19. This application is so popular in Karnataka, it registered 10 lakhs of hits in 10 days. Looking at its success, 50 cities of this country replicated this application across this country. So this is the impact of these startup centers and our innovation center in recent past. So thanking you again, I hand over my inaugural welcome to all of you and thank you for joining. Over to Karthik. Karthik, please.
Sir, thank you, Director Professor Debabrata Das. Without further ado, Professor Sadagopan, over to you for your opening remarks before Shri Tejaswi Surya speaks. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I think nearly 200 of you participants. Welcome you all. And you all have assembled to listen to the Honorable Member of the Parliament, Mr. Tejaswi Surya. And I will only take 2 minutes, and all the distinguished colleagues, including the Director of the Institute, Registrar of the Institute. You know, 100 years back, the word venture capitalist was not invented, but we did have a VC in the name of Mysore Maharaja. 100 years back, there were no serial entrepreneurs. The word was not invented. But we had one, and that too an outstanding person by the name of Sir M. Vishveshwaraya. He not only built Krishnaraja Sagar Dam, KRS Dam, he also built Brindavan Gardens. That means he was not just an engineer who did construction, but he could also look at the beauty. He not only built a steel plant and a Mysore soap plant, but he also created State Bank of Mysore. I think that, so Karnataka has this kind of a tradition for more than a century. And all that I would say is our current Member of the Parliament, Mr. Tejaswi Surya, is continuing the tradition. And I'm sure Karnataka government is the VC. And Mr. Tejaswi Surya is also a new generation person. He may not necessarily do it all by himself. Through all of you and through several forums which he is attending, he is going to create not one, but hundreds, if not thousands of serial entrepreneurs to make Karnataka to its glorious time. And we are privileged to have Mr. Tejaswi Surya with us. And I request him to inspire you. We are all there. We are all cheerleaders, but you people are all the players, okay? And get inspired, play well, and do proud to Karnataka and do proud to the country. Over to you, Mr. Tejaswi Surya.
Thank you, Professor. Without further ado, Tejaswi, just 5 lines about you, and then we would hand over to you. Shri Tejaswi Surya is BJP's youngest member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha and was elected from the constituency of Bengaluru South. Tejaswi Surya is an Indian politician, RSS Swayamsevak, and a lawyer, and serving the 17th Lok Sabha from the BJP. He also is the president of the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha now, a member of the Standing Committee on IT, Consultative Committee in the Ministry of Finance, and the Joint Committee on Officers of Profit. Namma Nimma Mechina Samsad Sadasyaru, Shri Tejaswi Surya ji, thank you very much for doing this. And I must also admit that yesterday, Yashwini Vaishnavji took over as the Minister for Electronics and IT. Professor Sadag, he happened to be Professor Sadagopan's student. And it's a very, very proud moment for Professor Sadagopan and our entire institute. And today you are inspiring us. Thank you so much, and over to you, sir.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸಡಗೋಪನ್ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗುರುಗಳು. ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ವೈಷ್ಣವ್ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾನು 2 ಸತಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ಪ್ರತಿ ಬಾರಿ IT ಕಮಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸಡಗೋಪನ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. So on behalf of a lot of people who look up to Professor Sadagopan, this is an opportunity for me to thank him for all the yeoman service that he has contributed to the country, to the institute. Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor to be in this program with you, alongside you. Professor Devavratji, all the faculty members, and all the participants in this very important IITB bootcamp program.
Thank you.
I'm sure many of you are joining this from a cafe in say Koramangala or JP Nagar. Many of you may be even joining from your home turned startup offices. But it's great to see all of you and to talk to all of you today. Whenever I travel in the country, and whenever it is, in our IT committee meetings or in parliament, the moment people know that I'm from Bangalore, the association with India's startup culture and our city goes hand in hand. And it is a matter of great pride. It's a matter of great privilege. And it's the biggest honor that I can ever hope to get in my life, that God and the people of Bengaluru have blessed me with an opportunity to represent this startup capital of India in the country's parliament. IITB has constantly working towards entrepreneurship and innovation, and it has greatly contributed to the India's startup ecosystem, which is now, like all of you know, the 3rd largest in the world, only behind United States and China. India today is home to over 50,000 startups and over 50 unicorns. And the pace at which we are growing and these unicorns are going big, the blossoming of new entrepreneurs and the blossoming of new startups is only going to increase. Even during the pandemic hit 2021, India has attracted more than $12 billion in funding in just the 6 months in the first year, and has created 11 unicorns this year. In 2021, India has seen 16 more startups become unicorns, bringing the total number of unicorns in India to around 57. Our Honorable Prime Minister has set the target of the country supporting 100 unicorns by 2030. But looking at the pace at which the unicorns are growing, and looking at the pace and capability of our tech entrepreneurs and our startup leaders, I'm sure that we would be achieving this target of 100 unicorns much sooner than 2030. All of you have been putting so much of hard work, and through your work, all of you have been touching lives of people. That is most important. And perhaps there is no sector in India today where a common Indian's life has not been positively touched by a startup. Whether it is someone of my mother's age, a lady of my mother's age who wants to go and visit, say, her mother, my grandmother in a different place, while I am in office, booking a Ola or Uber cab easily on their phone, investing on mutual funds, learning better financial habits and discipline, whether it is ordering the kind of food you want at your doorstep, booking travel tickets, tourism. There is no sector that Indian startups have not positively touched. And the kind of impact that the Indian startup ecosystem has had is clearly visible, because the Indian VCs who have recognized the innovation potential in India have raised over $3 billion in the last year. Not just that, our Indian venture capitalists are also making great strides at the global level and have contributed to $6 billion in global startups, making them truly global competitors. I keep saying this often. The startup in Bengaluru, a guy who is working out of a cafe in, say, JP Nagar or a Koramangala or a BTM layout, is not just competing with his peers in, say, Mumbai or Delhi. He's competing with the best minds from Tel Aviv, San Francisco, or Melbourne. The world is truly flat, and Bengaluru and the people of India, the startups of India, have been truly making their mark in this space in a most credible manner. Also, India has created, with the help of the government facilitating it, large platforms, open public platforms, which is leading to India's digitization in a great way. Whether it is Aadhaar, whether it is UPI, whether it is the Open Credit Enablement Network or the Indian Health Stack, all of these platforms are going to create a ripple effect where thousands of more entrepreneurs are going to be, can begin their journey by solving a lot of problems using these public platforms. Just last week, our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, opened the CoWIN portal to the world. This is again a feat of Indian technology and Indian entrepreneurship at play. This is a software that has verified, recorded, and authorized the vaccination for more than 29 crore people in India and has completed overall 36 crore vaccinations, including the second doses. What a great achievement this is of the country. This definitely would have not been possible if the government, the startups, the facilitators, and all stakeholders in the ecosystem would not have come together. And this is one sector where all of us have come together to ensure that great amount of progress is made in a quick period of time. And in the last pandemic, we have got an opportunity to see and witness how startups and the ecosystem together has come together to support the government, support people, public institutions in various levels. I want to give a few examples. The COVID Action 19 team, the Action COVID-19 team, the ACT grants, which brought together was an umbrella body of socially minded VCs, startups, and entrepreneurs, have extended tremendous support to the government during the second wave. All of the initiatives of ACT were primarily funded by India's benevolent VCs like Axel, 314 Capital, Book My Show, B Capital, Ankur Capital, and others. ACT funded 112 projects covering 27 states. During the first wave, startups like 1MG, Healthians, HouseJoy, MyLab worked on testing and detection. Postia, Project Step 1, and Swast provided teleconsultation services, protection equipment for medical workers, oxygen concentrators, even sponsoring oxygen plants in hospitals. All of this was done by the consortium of startups. This again proves a very important point, that creation of wealth, especially by private agencies, plays a very vital role in supporting the government and public authorities in times of need. Therefore, the startups and the startup ecosystem has once again proven to the country the importance of wealth creation through the startup medium. And this is an opportunity for us to thank ACT grants and all of them who came together, because they procured more than 105 PSA plants across the country, of which 18 of them have already been installed. 50,000 oxygen concentrators has been provided to government hospitals, nursing homes, COVID care centers, and NGOs. And this is a unique example of how various agencies have come together, whether it is assisting domestic workers, crematorium workers, transgenders, helping them with free vaccination. All of this has been made possible. This is an opportunity for me to also remember and recollect 2 or 3 important initiatives that we undertook from the MP office during the first wave and the second wave. It's been my fortune that we have had the opportunity to interact with 50 extremely dynamic startups to work on various solutions to help Bengaluru tide over this once-in-a-century pandemic. During the first wave, we worked with Ola, Dunzo, and Swiggy in setting up the Bengaluru South MP Coronavirus Task Force, which supported those in need with delivery of groceries, food packets, medicines, etc. More than 5,000 individual requests through 15 WhatsApp groups delivered by these delivery agencies and people were ensured. Not just that, we were able to bring together around 30 competing startups. With the help of Udaan and others, we were able to map 16,000 plus retail stores across the city and bring about the country's first WhatsApp chatbot enabled e-commerce platform called Homeline, which was inaugurated by the Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, with a pool of 10,000 delivery executives in all of Bengaluru and served more than 30,000 people. This again was supported by a NASDAQ a startup from my constituency called Kalera. We also started a teleconsultation platform called COVID Raksha. More than 70,000 incoming calls were recorded. And this was again supported by various startups like Swasth, Project Step One, Fortis Hospitals, 24/7 AI, Cartoon Mango, SRL Diagnostics, HeyDoc, Pharmeasy, Portia, ITW Consulting, all of them coming together. While we did this in the first wave, in the second wave, we went a step ahead. We noticed that getting appointments for vaccination in the CoWIN portal, now things have changed and become much easier, but it was quite a task a few weeks ago. We ensured that a couple of startups from Bengaluru South came together and created a solution where people could go and get vaccinated at their nearest private hospital and neighborhood nursing home. In less than 48 hours, we were able to set up a system that enabled automatic appointments, booking and SMS notifications and reservation of vaccination slots at the nearest vaccination site. Even in that, startups had supported us. And we have been partnering with Clinic, another very promising startup from Bengaluru, to vaccinate the vulnerable sections of people in my constituency, whether it is the rickshaw drivers, whether it is people in slums and thickly populated socioeconomic pockets. Clinic has been doing a phenomenal job, and they have a record of vaccinating more than 100 people in 60 minutes. And this time, startups of Bengaluru also proved that startups can not only be catalysts for growth and wealth creation, but they can also be important drivers of reform and bring in transparency in the city. All of you are aware that at the very peak of the pandemic, Bengaluru was facing a very serious bed shortage, hospital bed allocation software. Upon examination, we realized that this was a problem because of mismanagement of a software or a faulty software. And that was leading to a lot of miscreants who were able to game the system. And once this was brought to the notice of the Honorable Chief Minister, we immediately reached out to tech leaders like Nandan Nilekani, Naganand Doreswamy, iSpirit, Fractal AI. All of them came together as tech volunteers and in less than 100 hours fixed the problems and ensure that Bengaluru will have a very transparent, dynamic and robust hospital bed management software. All of this was possible because we have such a vibrant startup community in the city. At the same time, my dear friends, while these were things that we did through the MP office in Bengaluru, in my role as the national president of the Bharatiya Janata Party's youth wing, we also launched the country's first and only national level dedicated teleconsultation helpline in multiple languages, which was supported again by Bengaluru startups. Whether a person was calling from a remote part of West Bengal or from, say, the Ghats of Uttarakhand or from the high-rise apartments of Bombay or South Bangalore, people could call on one helpline number and avail teleconsultation in the language of their choice. It was the startups of Bengaluru, it was startups of the country which supported this. In over 2 months' time, we have handled more than 40,000 such calls and requests. And this again shows that whether it is a public representative's office, whether it is working with the government to bring in reforms, whether it is working with a political party's youth wing to create a teleconsultation platform, startups have been able to add value to all of these various aspects of public service, public delivery, and governance. And I must also mention to you that the approach of our office has been in the last 2 years, that any initiative we take, we always try to have a startup as a partner to support us. Because I come from the startup capital, and like Professor Sadogopan was mentioning, I myself am a political startup in a very sense of the term. Therefore, our approach has always been to support all of our initiatives or partner all of our initiatives with a startup, especially startups from Bangalore. Very recently, we had organized a fundraiser for a lot of artists in Karnataka who were performance artists in Karnataka who have been suffering because of the COVID lockdown. We partnered with Milap, and Milap said, we are not going to charge any fees, any tip. We are going to help you raise funds. From Sonu Nigam to Hariharan to Vijay Prakash, we had all the top talents of the country come and perform free concerts, which was aired online. People donated on Milap, and we were able to, in less than 2 days, generate more than 40 lakh rupees through the Milap platform. This again is a platform, is a startup that is registered in Bengaluru South, a few blocks away from my office. So all of these only indicate the immense possibilities of how we can collaborate, we can work together. Whether it is leadership in government or leadership in entrepreneurship. Essentially, we are all doing the same thing. We are trying to solve a problem. We are trying to solve the problem of people, and thereby we add value, either through the government agencies or as a startup. The bigger the problem that we solve, the bigger the scale of our operations can be. And if you solve problems for India, you will be solving problems for the world. And therefore, India has great, tremendous opportunities of solving the biggest problems in the fields of education, health, climate change, renewable energy, welfare delivery, digital communications, governance products, and even at the municipal level, if you think about it, garbage disposal, traffic management, smart city solutions, energy efficiency at a city level. I mean, you think about any specific department, there is a solution, there is a problem that is before you to solve. And we also have great opportunities opening up in the field of fintech, aerospace, nanotech, chip manufacturing, and with the rollout of 5G right now, the immense opportunities before us is only limitless. Therefore, the kind of opportunities that the startup ecosystem has to solve problems for the society at large in collaboration with the government is unbelievable. Friends, the Prime Minister's motto and vision is to have a $5 trillion economy, of which at least $2 trillion gets raised, supported through these startups. Which is why the Prime Minister and the government have been consistently making efforts to support the startup ecosystem. During the pandemic, we realized how important it was to rely on a tech backbone for the direct transfer benefits of the citizens. The establishment of the government e-marketplace, the GEM, and the encouragement it has given to Indian startups has been tremendous. The total value of orders on the GEM portal now stands at 11.67 lakh crore. The Modi government has also taken extra efforts to improve the ease of doing business in India. A few legislative changes in the Companies Act are being mulled to enable startups to fully enlist themselves on overseas markets such as NASDAQ. Even as we speak, startups like Paytm, Nykaa, and Zomato are already making are getting regulatory approvals to shortly go on the Indian IPO, on the stock market, and go IPO and raise growth capital from the public markets. This is an indication of how both Indian capital market as well as the Indian startup ecosystem are attaining maturity. There is also thinking going on as to how we can incentivize more investment in startups by large Indian corporates by ensuring or by considering their investments as CSR activity. This is a policy suggestion that is being on the anvil and can be considered very positively. The government Startup India scheme is one of the most startup friendly policies in the world. It promotes bank financing for startups, offers incentives to boost entrepreneurship and job creation in India. The scheme has also supported a dedicated 10,000 crore corpus for the funding of startups, a 3-year income tax holiday, capital gains tax are exempt for venture capital investments, and an 80% reduction in patent fee. Under the Atal Innovation Mission, which is again in the larger scheme of these startup things, more than 8,870 schools in the country have Atal Tinkering Labs today, which have become centers of experimentation and innovation at the very outset, at the very beginning in schools of the country. Bengaluru, like I said, is the startup capital. It supports 35% of the country's startups. As India is also trying to grow as a deep tech hub, Bengaluru's role will be very important and vital. We have so far 950 plus AI startups, 480 plus IoT startups, 80 plus AR and VR startups, and 30 plus robotic startups. This is just an indication of how vibrant the startup community is in Bengaluru. In our quest to become a $5 trillion economy by 2025, startups will play a very vital role. Like I said, over $2 trillion contribution is expected from the startups. By 2025, India is projected to have 10,000 startups, rise to the second largest startup ecosystem in the world after the United States, and have over 150 unicorns or startups valued over $1 billion. Today, Indians are also creating unicorns globally, with 67 US unicorns having Indian origin founders. Friends, this is a time for us to build on our strengths, ensure that the country becomes more wealthy and prosperous. And whether it is facilitating better policies or whether it is encouraging more young people to take up the path of entrepreneurship, we must do what it takes to ensure that the ecosystem gets strengthened. Before I conclude, I want to say just 2-3 things which I feel are some irreversible changes which the startup ecosystem and the startup revolution in India has created. 1, wealth creation is extremely important in India and for India. For a very long time, as a country, we have been poor. And to borrow the words of the great Nani Palkhiwala, India was not poor by chance. India was poor by policy. For a very long time, we ensured that the entrepreneurial strength, the entrepreneurial genius of our people was shackled, that it did not allow to be blossomed, and the true potential of young Indians was not let unleashed. Things have changed. Generations and generations of Indians before us have paid the price for wrong policies. Now is the time for us to correct them and create wealth in this country in scale that the country has never seen before. And this wealth creation is being led by the startups of the country. When I see young startup founders from Bengaluru who were, neighbors in JP Nagar, in Jayanagar and other places, raising billions of dollars in funding, creating high value jobs, where today one of the most difficult challenges for any startup is retention of talent, because there is so much of competition in hiring talent, because there is a demand for good talent. Startups are creating high value, high paid jobs. Wealth creation has become a very, very important aspect of the startup culture. So this marked move away from the dogged socialism which kept India poor is an irreversible change that the startup revolution in India has brought about. The second thing, earlier, the way people would do business, the way a businessman would conduct business, was by managing the system, was by building relationships with government officials, bureaucrats, not through innovation. Stress was more on management of officials, of politicians, of the inspectors, and not on innovating and building good products. This is another big change that has now taken place, where wealth creation and profit generation can be done through ethical means and not by managing the system and gaming the system. This new breed of culture, this new culture of innovation and entrepreneurship is again an irreversible change which is going to make India a modern economy, a respectable economy, an economy which will generate and attract the brightest of talents from around the world, because they believe that in India we today have a system, a governance structure which will facilitate clean businesses, which will place a premium on honesty, patience, and hard work. This is the second irreversible change that the startup revolution has brought about. The third and a very important change is with respect to how people are seeing private companies. Gone are now the days where people view private enterprises and private and entrepreneurs with a suspicion that they are taking away something that belongs to the government or to the public. People today see private companies, startups, entrepreneurs as value additions to the larger scheme, larger growth story of India. This is going to motivate more and more young people to join the path of entrepreneurship and wealth creation. From reading books about Steve Jobs to actually dreaming to be one, a common Indian today is feeling that he also can aspire to become rich, can become wealthy, can become a leader in business despite his financial and economic background. In that sense, the startup revolution is strengthening the roots of India's social, political, and economic democracy. Today, if I am sitting before you as a member of parliament, coming from a middle-class family in Bengaluru South, it's a testament to the fact that India is a vibrant democracy. And today, if we are seeing a Nikhil Kamath or a Bhavish Agarwal or any other young middle-class boy raising billions of dollars in capital and bringing great wealth creation for himself, for his family, for the society, and building big unicorns, it is again a testament of the strength of our democracy, the strength of the human, the strength of the structures that we have put in place, where human endeavor, human enterprise will be respected. These, I think, my dear friends, are the three very vital and irreversible changes that the startup revolution has brought about in India. And this culture is going to trickle down. It is going to trickle down to all respects of our society, all levels of our polity, and all levels of the society's economic, social structure. In that sense, India is going to be a far more vibrant democracy, a far more capable republic. Therefore, all of our roles is extremely important. And in that regard, IIITB, under the leadership of people like Professor Sadogopan, Professor Devabrata, and all the very capable leaders of the institute have been providing tremendous service to the nation. I wish all of you the very best, and I hope to see that all of you will play an extremely important role together with the government, together with public representatives, together with every single Indian in collectively building the grand dream and realizing the grand dream of a rich, prosperous, strong, modern Bharat. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, very much, Dr. Das. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri Tejaswi Ji. Your talk was very inspiring, and it is particular to the youth who has been listening to you. They will be really motivated for this entrepreneurship and startup India. Whatever you said is absolutely to the point with respect to this country, and once upon a time we were one of the richest country in the world. But as you rightly said, the policies due to this different past. So now it has time. The government is taking right steps and it is been moving in a very positive direction. I am sure our youth will be highly benefited with your support. Thank you again, and thanks for your all time and for encouraging these young minds to be entrepreneurs. And Karthik, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Das, Director, for this. So, Sargopan, quickly over to you for a minute, and I may request Honorable MP for a couple of questions, or if you have 5 minutes, sir, if you could go ahead with 2 or 3 questions. Over to you, Professor Sargopan.
Okay. So all that I want to say is thank you, Mr. Surya. I think you spoke your heart and you spoke words of wisdom. I'm sure the startups would have got charged. I think all of us together are in this game together. I think to realize the dream which you talked about, I think so wonderfully argued. So grateful. I'm sure that you have a busy time. We don't want to clog your time. So thank you so much for taking time for us. Thank you. Over to you, Karthik.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. One thing that many of them had asked us before is how they can work on solving societal problems or with MP's office. I know many of them have been working, but students from various sectors like management, technology, if you put them together, what is your thought on how they can work to support public representation?
Sir, thank you for that. Like I mentioned in detail, we have been working with a lot many startups in Bengaluru. I request all the startups who are interested to work on various societal issues and, like I said, solving various society and governance related problems to write to us on my official email ID. The email ID is contact@tejasvisurya.in, contact@tejasvisurya.in. Kindly write. And I had in fact suggested once to a particular, there were a couple of students who had come together. I think they were just, they had passed out of RV or some college, I don't remember today. I had told them to come and sit in my office for 3-4 days and observe what goes on in the office. Because that itself is a wealth of experience to understand the problems that need to be solved. Because people come into the office asking for everything, asking you to solve every damn problem under the sun. Whether it is, getting them a recommendation letter to a priority darshan in Tirupati, or getting their garbage cleared in a CA site, vacant site next to their house, or to asking, energy efficiency audit in a particular locality. You will find people from all walks of life who come and meet a public representative. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur who wants to solve problems, and you want problems to be solved, you want problems on which you can work upon, please come to our office, spend 2-3 days with us. From morning till evening, you will find 100 different people coming with 100 different problems, and lo, you have your business idea there.
Thank you, sir.
And I must also add, sir, before I conclude, that in people of Bengaluru, in the startups of Bangalore, among the young people of Bangalore, I have seen an attitude and a spirit that is very unique to the city's culture. They have a never say die attitude, very adaptable to change, very flexible and very forward looking, which is why I keep saying that ours is the only city in the world where you have masala dosa and machine learning and filter coffee and filter array JavaScripts coexisting together and thriving alongside each other. This is the strength of the city. So we must build on it and ensure that the city gives solutions to the country. Thank you so much.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very well said.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
One more question that has come is Startup Karnataka supports patent expense reimbursement. Sometimes there are many ifs and buts that are preventing from benefiting the scheme to claim reimbursement on granted patents. Could you help us remove some hurdles to help reimbursement on granted patents?
Yeah, sure. So what I would suggest is in our office, there are a couple of our staff who are specifically looking to address startup issues. Vaishak and Sirish in our office specifically deal with issues that are faced by startups. So my request is to kindly write on the email ID that I have mentioned, and in the subject line specifically write your request that it's a startup related request and write to us. We will respond to you immediately.
Thank you, sir. One more says that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
And
Thank you for the time, Honorable MP, and definitely we'll be back. We shall contact the office and also send some of the queries to your staff.
Absolutely, sir. And I look forward to meeting Professor Devabrata and the entire team at IIITB. I will, along with Professor Sadagopan, whenever he gives us a time, we will all come together and learn more from all of you and see how we can all support the institute and the ecosystem at large. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much. We look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you.
you are always welcome. So nice of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the students and startup community,
Thank you.
bye from our side.
Thank you.
And looking forward to this boot camp.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, all the professors and the faculty members of the IIIT Bangalore and from other institutes, and the staff of the institute, and also the startup community for the support, and the dignitaries from the government of Karnataka and other places. Thank you very much for joining this